the one who stands at the pinnacle of all races.
私が7つの大罪、傲慢の罪、ライオン神エスカノール様だ。それが傲慢の罪。クルエルサン。プライドフレイ。聖剣エスカノール。魔の神とやら。人間に見下される気分は。
Yo, what's up guys, Toby from the MasterBok show and I hope you're having an amazing day. It's time for us to showcase another powerful dedicated pure class, especially for our melee characters out there. By utilizing the most broken classes in Baldur's Gate 3, this monster can attack 8 to 10 times in a single turn, can move from enemy to enemy, dishing out disgusting amount of damage, and dodge most attacks with its high AC, as well as having amazing CC capabilities and ultimate mobility. It can basically do anything solo or be an amazing addition to your team. If you want to build that as the very definition of a raid boss, this build is for you. This is the pure power fighter with a twist and my version of the raid boss. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, here we are now guys in our character creation screen. This is where we will be building the foundation of our raid boss for today. We are eyeing on two races that are really interesting for the build, starting with the Githyanki and the Half-Orc. The Half-Orc has race features such as base racial speed, dark vision, and the most interesting thing for the Half-Orc is the relentless endurance and the savage attack. Relentless endurance gives us basically tankiness. If we reach 0 hit points, we gain an additional 1 hit point instead of being down or being incapacitated. But the really cool thing about the Half-Orc is the savage attack. When we land a critical hit with a melee weapon, we deal an additional extra dice roll of our weapon damage. So basically, we deal an additional damage on top of our crit, which is really awesome. For the Githyanki, we gain the actions such as Astral Knowledge. We gain proficiency in any skill of our choosing until long rest, and as well as a mage hand cantrip, and finally race features of base racial speed and martial prodigy. For today's build, I'm eyeing on the biggest attacker and has the biggest potential for damage, which is the Half-Orc, due to the savage attacks and the relentless endurance. But if ever you guys prefer, you can go with the Githyanki because it gives proficiency in short sword, long sword, and great sword, and we can also get a really powerful legendary great sword that's gonna be perfect for the Githyanki race. But for me, I'll just go with the Half-Orc because of the savage attack. For the classes, we are eyeing on the most powerful melee character class, which is the fighter. The fighter is one of the really powerful single class characters, especially if you want to just dump purely into this class. For the fighting style, we are eyeing on the great weapon fighting. For the background, there are two backgrounds that are interesting for today, starting with the soldier and the folk hero. The folk hero gives us animal handling and survival proficiencies, while the soldier gives us athletics and intimidation. I'll just go with the soldier because intimidation is always a really interesting proficiency to have. And finally, for the abilities, we are eyeing on 3 abilities that are really important for the build, starting with the strength. Strength is the most important here because we are dealing a lot of weapon damage. Next up is dexterity. That's gonna be affecting our initiative and our AC. And finally, for our constitution, for our hit points, as well as constitution saving throws. Right after character creation, we are moving into level 2 of our fighter. We are now introducing our first multi-class of the build, which is the cleric. The reason for this is for us to utilize as early as possible the perks on the subclass that we are selecting for this build. For the cantrips, we are eyeing on light. This will infuse objects with an aura of light, as well as resistance and guidance, which is the most powerful cantrip in the game. For the subclass, we are focusing on the War Domain subclass. This will unlock a few spells that are really interesting for the build, starting with the Divine Favor, which will grant us additional 1 to 4 radiant damage to our weapons, as well as Shield of Faith. But the most important thing that we need here for the subclass is the War Priest. Whenever we do an unarmed or weapon attack, we can spend our War Priest charges to make an additional attack as a bonus action. We get around 3 War Priest charges, so that means we can attack an additional 3 times in a single turn. For the prepared spells, you can just get Bless, or if ever you want, you can get Cure Wounds. Coming into level 3 of our character and level 2 of our cleric, we are now moving back and focusing most of our levels in our fighting class. That means that we are focusing the remaining levels of our character into the fighting class. So for level 3, we just unlock our Action Surge, which will grant us an additional action to use in a turn. Coming into level 4, which is the fighter class, we are now unlocking the most important subclass for the build, which is the Battle Master. It will unlock a subclass feature, Superiority Die, which will grant us maneuver charges that we can use later on for this build. For the maneuvers, I highly advise you get Disarming Attack. Disarming Attack is a really powerful. Whenever we use a maneuver to make an attack, we deal an additional 1d8 damage and possibly force the enemy to drop its weapon. And remember guys, whenever we drop an opponent's weapon, basically they become a statue, or they just try to punch their way out of a battle, which is really useless, which is why the Disarming Attack is a really powerful maneuver to have. As well as our Pushing Attack. Our Pushing Attack is basically push attack the enemy into a chasm and watch them drop to their death, or maybe just push their enemy to reposition them, which is a really useful maneuver to have. And for the third maneuver, we need Repose. Repose is a really powerful passive to get. Whenever a hostile creature misses a melee attack, we can spend our Superiority Die to retaliate using a powerful strike, dealing additional 1d8 damage, which will occur a lot. So Repose is a really must-have whenever you're using a War Master. Level 4 of our fighter, we just unlock our first feat for today. We are eyeing on the Athlete. Athlete is a really interesting feat to have because our strength or dexterity increases by 1 to a maximum of 20. But the really cool thing is whenever we are prone, we can significantly reduce the cost of movement to get ourselves back up, and we can also increase our jumping distance by 50%. Level 6 of our fighter, we just unlocked our new feat. So we are eyeing on the feat Great Weapon Master. This will grant us an additional 10 damage in a cost of 5 attack rolls penalty. It is a toggleable passive that we can turn on and off depending on our preference. And the really cool thing about this is the Great Weapon Master bonus attack. Whenever we land a critical hit or kill a target with a melee attack, we can make another melee attack as a bonus action of that turn, which is pretty cool. Coming in for level 7 of our fighter, we just got an additional 2 maneuvers for today. We are eyeing on the Trip Attack, which will grant us the ability to knock our target prone, as well as the Menacing Attack, which will grant us the opportunity to frighten the target that we are using it with. Coming in for level 8 of our fighter, we just unlock another feat to the mix. We are eyeing on the ability improvement. We're just gonna dump all of the ability improvement points to our strength. Level 10 of our character and level 9 of our fighter, we just unlock our class feature, which is the Indomitable. Level 11, we just unlock our subclass feature, which is the improved combat superiority. And in addition, our final set of maneuvers that we can get throughout our leveling process. I highly advise you get the Fainting Attack. This will both use our action and bonus action to deal guaranteed damage to our enemies, and Rally. And finally, for level 12, we just unlocked one of the best class features in the game in the form of Improved Extra Attack. Improved Extra Attack grants us 2 additional bonus attack after we attack with our main hand weapon. Now I'm going to be showing you 2 builds for today. One is for the early game and one for the end game. So the early game is composed of the Act 1 and the Act 2 builds. We have a couple of items that we need to make our raid boss really effective, especially in the early game. We're going to start off with 2 items, which is a tandem item, the Grimskull Helmet that will prevent any critical hits from landing to the wearer, and the Adamantine Split Armor. It will grant us the magical plate All incoming damage will be reduced by 2, as well as the passive intense adamantine backlash. Whenever an melee attack hits us, attacker will be sent reeling for 3 turns, and we can't get critical hit whenever we are wearing this armor. Next up is the Swordmaster Glove. We will gain more proficiency in our short sword, long sword, and great swords, and in addition we get 1 bonus to our melee attack rolls. For the rings, we need the Callous Glow ring. It will grant us the passive the Callous Glow. We deal an additional 2 damage whenever an enemy is eliminated. For the weapons, we need the Everburn Blade, but whenever you can find a better two-handed sword, you can just equip that. The Everburn Blade is best for this build because number 1, you can get it really early, particularly in the Nautiloid, and number 2, it gives additional fire damage whenever we are hitting an enemy. Now it's time for me to showcase to you guys how to deal damage whenever we are using our raid boss in the early game. We need to start off the battle using light. Light is a really interesting spell because it infuses an aura of light to an object. The reason for this is we need to activate our Callous Glow ring. Again, we deal an additional 2 against enemies that are eliminated. In addition to that, we're gonna utilize the power of Divine Favor. Our weapon attack will deal 1 to 4 radiant damage for 3 turns, so we're just gonna be using this. So as you see here, we just got an additional 1d4 radiant damage plus the 2 radiant damage that we got from our glow ring, and finally the additional damage from the fire of the Everburn Blade. So we're just trying to attack this opponent here, particularly just an example with the Starion. As you see here, we just dealt 3, 6, and 24. So again, we'll try to attack Astarion and once more, just to showcase the damage that we can deal. As you see here, we just dealt 32, 3, and 6. Now I'm going to be showing you guys the Act 3 builds or the endgame build that will really optimize our raid boss to make it as powerful as we can. Starting off with the Horns of Berserker, it will grant us the passive Seeking Blood. We will gain 2 bonus actions on our attack rolls for as long as the enemy has already taken damage. But the most important thing here is the Bloodthirst. Our melee attacks will gain additional 2 necrotic damage for as long as we are not in 100% health. Next up is the Gauntlet, the War Master. This will grant us the passive Heightened Maneuver. Targets will have disadvantage on saving throws against our maneuver and weapon actions. Next is the Amulet of Greater Health. This will set our Constitution to 23 and give us advantages to our Constitution saving throw checks. Coming up is the Caustic Band. It will grant our weapon attack 2 acid damage. Finally, for the rings, we will need the Killer Sweetheart. It will grant us the passive Executioner. Whenever we kill an enemy, our next attack roll will be a guaranteed crit. And finally, for the weapons, we need the Baldur Giant Slayer. It will grant us the passive Giant Slayer. On hit, it doubles the damage from your strength modifiers. This weapon also grants you advantages to attack rolls against large, huge, and gargantuan enemies. And the most important thing here is we get the Giantification form. Just a bonus weapon for you guys if you can. I highly advise you get the Conter Mael. This is a legendary bow that you get in Act 3, which gives you the passive Celestial Haste. Alright guys, and I'm going to be showing you some active gameplay and how we properly utilize our raid boss. So before we start a battle, we need to activate our Horns of the Berserker. That will make our melee attack deal an additional 2 necrotic damage for as long as we don't have full health. So we just need to drop our HP into around 99% or whatever HP that you can for as long as it is not 100%, as well as it's going to go really well with the +2 acid from our ring. So whenever in turn 1 or if ever we're going to be starting a battle, we need to start off using Giantification. That will grant us additional damage to our attacks as well as Celestial Haste. Alright, now we are starting a battle with our raid boss. So as you see here, look at how big this guy is. We're going to be opening up with a trip attack so that we can prone this enemy here, and then we're gonna be moving to another target of our preference just to showcase the weapon maneuvers that we can do in a single turn. So we'll just try to disarm this NPC here. As you see here, she just dropped her weapon. Basically she can't do anything, so we'll just try to attack her again and attack her again. Now she did. We can move back to our target. We just keep on attacking her. We just proc our executioner because we just obliterated one opponent. So we'll just use a guaranteed crit. On attacking. Keep on attacking. Now she did. Now we're gonna be starting to attack again with our raid boss. The raid boss is very straightforward, guys. You just move from enemy to enemy and obliterate them whenever you want. So I just disarmed another weapon. Now she's basically useless. And I'll move into using a frightening attack to another enemy. So as you see here, we're just gonna use a frightened attack. Now she's frightened. She has disadvantages on her attack roll. Now we can dish out another attack here. And another attack here. Got a miss. Now she's dead. Moving to another target. Now she's dead again. This is how powerful this monster is. Moving from enemy to enemy just to obliterate some damage. Now we just proc riposte because the opponent apparently missed. And we just dealt additional damage to her. Now we're going to be attacking an opponent again. We're going to try to obliterate this archer first. Now she's missed. Again, attack. And another attack. Now he did. Again, another attack here. And another attack. Now he did. Again, another attack. And another attack. And another attack. My god, the amount of attacks this character can do is crazy. And dead. Oh, we still have an enemy, dude. Now she's dead. Moving to another target. Just finishing out here. Good. And another one. And another one. Right. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoy watching me obliterate these opponents one by one, single-handedly with the power of the raid boss. This build is really fun solo, or if ever you want to play it in a group, this is gonna be a really powerful addition to your team. A frontline that can move from target to target, obliterating them with its powerful melee attacks. Having questions or clarifications, please comment it down below. We would love to answer any questions that you guys have to whatever best I can. Shoutouts to the people who subscribe to the channel and keep watching the videos. And don't forget guys, if you like the video, please hit it a like. It really lets me know that you guys are enjoying these builds. I hope I earn your subscription in the future, but if I earn it today, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. And that's it for me. I hope to see you soon on the next MasterBok show. Peace out. Bye guys.